Welcome everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. To our, what is it, 75th webinar. And AJ, you're the king on this one. Welcome. Welcome everybody, of course,
Thank
as I
you.
said. Yes, and of course, in a busy week with Directions EMEA ahead, you did find time to be here today to talk about external business events and business events, external, well, you will explain. Before you do, I'm going to go through my, let's say, housekeeping slides. As you all know, at least those that have been attending regularly, your microphone is muted. It will not be unmuted, but if you want to have to pose a question, to interact, feel free to use the questions window. And I, Luc van Vugt, the moderator of today, will pick it up and pose it at an appropriate point in time. So feel free to come up with anything you want to get clarification on regarding external business events. It's recorded, it's already running, and it will be put on YouTube probably this evening already in a fast growing collection of webinars. So feel free to use them. If you want to be in the know, last week sent out the latest newsletter. It is not regularly sent out, but every time there is something new to communicate, it will be sent out and you're the first to know. As you will see on the next slide, there are 3 sessions ahead. One on November 27, which I will pick up to talk about testing and permissions. On December 4th, Waldo will talk about the toolkit, as he calls it, BC toolkit for developers. And on December 11th, there will be one from Dimitri Katson. He asked me last week, is there a slot available? Yes, there is. What the topic will be, he will let me know after this week, where he will present at Directions EMEA in Lyon. And it highly relates to one of his sessions. And yes, probably it will be something with AI, I guess.
I would say I can make an educated guess.
Probably you can put it somewhere and ask what will be the session Dimitri is going to do on December 11th. So, but as always, looking still for speakers. I mean, I'm busy. I know Michael Nielsen also contacted me, something probably happening in January, but there's enough in this season. And as I put in the newsletter, please, if you can, respond to my request on what is the value of Areopa webinars. This is the 5th season and might be the last, might not be the last, all depending. I've been doing this for 5 years. It's fun to do, but there's always a time to start and stop again. But depending on what you all think, what your input is going to be, I will decide what will happen after this season, if there will be a 6th, if other people are going to step in, whatever. But, well, give your vote or give your voice a call sound. And before I'm going to hand over to you, Arend, thanks to our sponsor for enough for enabling us to do this. So I'm going to make you presenter, AJ, and you should be able to share your screen. Yes, it's there. Great.
Alrighty. Well, thank you, Luc, for the introduction. Hello, everybody. Nice to be here again with Areopa. Been here before, but yeah, it's always great to see an audience that is interested in anything around Business Central. And great that Luc is organizing this. Today, I want to talk with you about external business events or external events. I'll come to that, what all these different names are. Well, actually meaning the same, of course. So my name is Arend-Jan Kauffmann. You probably know me, have seen me before. I'm around in this world since 2002. Well, not the world, but the Navision world, actually. I used to be a freelance technical consultant, but recently I joined Lumos 365, a UK-based partner, as CTO. And also an MVP for Business Central since 2013 or 12. What is it? Yeah, should have my 11th now. Anyway, in this Navision / Dynamics Nav / well, what else? All the names that we have until Business Central in since 2002. So that's more than 20 years. And always happy to share what I have seen, what I stumble over, with my blog or as a speaker on conferences, as I will be doing this week at the Directions EMEA in Lyon. I have 3 more sessions to go this week. And I also used to be a trainer for a lot of companies. So that's about me. Enough about me. Let's talk about Business Central webhooks. Oh, I thought I was going to say something about external business events. And now we have webhooks on the screen. Well, that's for a reason. Webhooks is actually something that is similar. And there's absolutely one thing that I want to make clear in this session, and that is what is actually the difference between API webhooks and external business events. Actually, I also sent in a session for Directions EMEA, which was not selected, but it was called Business Central External Business Events, the webhooks you were waiting for. It was not selected, so this content is exclusive. So webhooks, we are used, maybe, hopefully, I don't know, you may be used to webhooks. It is something that is featured by the API layer in Business Central. And what it does is it focuses on the exposed resources, the data that is exposed by the API layer. And that webhooks is actually giving you the option to be notified about changes that happen to the data that is exposed by the API layer. And the changes I'm talking about are when something is created, so a record is inserted, or when a record is updated or modified, or when a record is deleted. And that is, I don't know if you know it, but it is all happening in AL code, actually. It's just a trigger to the on global insert, modify, delete triggers, and there something magic happens. It's actually very close to the changelog functionality. It happens in the same place. If you have seen changelog before, well, webhooks is actually a sibling to changelog. It's not just internally logging the changes. It's going to notify an external system if an external system is subscribed to the change that something happened to the data. The notifications, as you will see in a minute, contain limited information. You will get an information that a record was created. You get a record ID, but you don't get the record details. If a record was updated or deleted, you will see the ID of the record, but you don't see any further details of the particular record. And subscribing to a webhook requires a handshake mechanism. That means that when somebody wants to subscribe an external system, then Business Central is going to check if that external system is actually alive and listening before the subscription is established. So it's going to make a call to the external system. Hey, are you there? Are you actually listening? And if the external system replies, then the subscription is created. So we call that a handshake mechanism. Just shake hands before the subscription is there. And then a subscription, after it has been created, expires every 3 days, meaning that you need to refresh a subscription every 3 days. So if you have an external system that is listening to webhooks, you must have a mechanism built in that refreshes the active subscription every 3 days before it expires. So that is what Webhooks is, and I just want to quickly demonstrate how webhooks are working. And for that, I'm using a tool, and that tool is called PipeDream. And I'm actually using this to just drop in anything that comes from a Business Central API webhook, so we can inspect the data. I could have created, or have created also my own Azure function, for example, or another function, or Power Automate. You can also use that, but here I can actually inspect the data, and so you can really see what has been sent by Business Central. So I'm going to use Postman to create a webhook subscription. When I look into the APIs, then you can get a list of webhooks that are supported for webhooks. Well, there's actually the whole list of all standard APIs. And to create an API webhook subscription, I'm gonna post something to the subscriptions endpoint, and there will be the notification URL. This is the URL of the tool you just saw. And I want to get notified when something happens to the items items resource. So a new item created, or an item is updated or deleted. So I send that, and well, probably get first a response that is timing out, and that is fine because my service is a paid service. It's not a really paid service, I should say, so it's always slow in starting up. So I'm gonna do this again, and now it will be fast enough. There we go. So I get a confirmation that the subscription has been created, and my external system will now be notified until the expiration date time, which is going to be on November 2nd, and then the same time as UTC time 1512. So when I look in to that tool, I can now see there was a validation token processed, which is actually that handshake mechanism. I get something in with a client state super secret value. You may notice that here in the client state, there's kind of a password thing or a secret that you can exchange with the external system. It's your only security mechanism. Actually, the other system that is listening must be accepting anonymous calls. So by using a client state, you can make sure that it is really coming from Business Central. Anyway, he has processed that validation token as part of the handshake mechanism. So let's go in into an item and change something here. So whatever, this one is going to be on shelf 01. And let's also create a new item. Why not? Because it takes a few seconds for the webhook to be notified. So this is going to be a demo item. And then go back into this one, and we should actually see in a few seconds a notification coming in. It can take up to 30 seconds, but here it is. At this moment, when I do this kind of demonstration, I always feel like a radio DJ. So what I get in here in my body is 3 values, and every value is 1 notification. So in fact, the notifications are combined. Everything that happened in let's say 30 seconds before you're sending out a notification is combined into 1 JSON message. The first thing that happened was a change type. Something was updated on the resource. Well, here we have the resource. You get a full URL to that particular resource, an item with this item ID. The second thing that happened was a change type created. We created a new resource. So that was this one. And the thing that happened after that was a modification, an update of the very same resource. And also just this one. So I have 3 values in total, 3 notifications, and this one is actually pretty interesting because this is going to demonstrate why the external business events are way better than webhooks. Because I get here a notification that something is created, and I also get a notification that something was updated, and the resource is exactly the same. So that was creating a new record and then updating a value. And that happened just in a second, but I get 2 notifications for that. And that is something that is specific to webhooks. You will be notified about anything that is happening. So if you don't, for example, process this in a correct order, then you will try to update a resource while it was not created. You will have multiple notifications. And how would you even process such a notification? You would need to read this record, and when you read this record, you will have it including the already updated value. Can you imagine what happens when we subscribe to a sales header change? I'm not going to demonstrate that. I guess you can imagine what would happen. Let's say I want to be notified when a sales order is being posted or released. So then, let's say released. And what you actually are interested in is the change of the field status. But the only thing you will get is change type updated. And you have no idea what has been updated. You only see that a sales order has been updated. And if you know that the sales order API will send webhooks notifications for any change on the sales header and the sales lines, if there is something changed on the sales line, it will be treated as changing the whole sales order. So you will already get a notification something happened on the sales order header when one of the lines was changed. So every time that you get an update that it was updated, you get a notification that the sales header was updated, you would not know if that was because of a change in the line, change in the header, and if it was because of the sales order was released or not. You need to read it, you need to check the field status, and then again, there could be even modifications to the sales order after it has been released. I mean, modify one of the fields in the sales line, like quantity to post, or quantity to ship, quantity to invoice. These are changes on the sales lines that potentially can trigger an outgoing notification. Hey, the sales order was changed. Well, all of that is actually not what you were looking for when talking about sales order release. You want to be notified about that. And that is the point with webhooks. It is data focused and is a perfect type of integration for synchronizing data. It's perfect for keeping data in sync with an external system. But it's actually not so much of a solution for being notified about a real business process, like a post or release or a customer blocked or well, whatever. And that is where external business events come in. So let's move on to that. External business events. Well, the name is a little bit confusing. The official name in the documentation is business events. Originally, it was external business events, but at some point, Microsoft decided to go with business events because it might be confusing for people using Power Automate, for example, to understand what exactly is an external event in the context of Power Automate. So they decided to name it business event. However, it is, as you will see later, implemented by means of an event in AL code. And in AL code, we already have something that is called business event from the beginning. We have an integration event, we also have a business event. So it could not be called business event in AL, so it's still called external business event in AL code. And well, then in the APIs, as you'll also see, we sometimes see the word external event instead of business event. So that the word business is totally gone. So yeah, I can't help it. I think that the best name is still external business event or external event, but because the word business is quite confusing in my opinion. But okay, this is what it is. We have to deal with it. So what is it? It is featured by the AL language. In AL language, we can trigger it from code just like any other AL event. So just like an integration event that you have in your code, you can also that you can trigger. You just raise an event, which can be a business event, and if then an external subscriber is subscribed to that event, he will get a notification. You don't have to bother about outgoing web service calls or whatsoever. You just call the procedure, the AL event, and that's it. And that will then notify the external system that that event was raised. So you can use that somewhere in your code after a process was finished, saying, hey, this process has now been completed for this or this record, or the state was changed, like an order was released, or an invoice was posted, etc. And the notification, the outgoing notification, then contains all the parameters of the AL event. So that event that you raise, the event you call, is just an AL procedure with parameters like you have with any other regular event in Business Central. And all parameters will be included in the notification to the external system. Subscribing is pretty easy, as you will see. There's no handshake required. It does not expire. It's just there. But hey, if the external system wants to get rid of it, of course, it needs to delete the subscription. Or if the external system goes down, then at a certain point in time, and I don't know exactly how long that takes, but at a certain point in time, Business Central decides that the service is no longer interested, and they'll then automatically deactivate the subscription. And what's also great is that you can subscribe for a single company or for all companies in an environment. So that's also different from Webhooks. You always subscribe to a particular resource in a particular company. But subscribing or business events can be for all companies at once, so with one subscription, and then the notification, of course, will include the information in which company the event occurred. Isn't that easy? Well, out of the box, we already have a number of business events, so let's stick with that name. Out of the box is already there, and that is delivered as an app. As the APIs, for example, also delivered as an app. So the business events are also just available as an app in Business Central. The ID of the app is what you see here. And you may think, is that interesting? Well, you will see that in this case, the ID of the app definitely is something you need to know. When you subscribe to events, you need to specify the ID. The name is called exclude_exclude_ business events. And the word exclude here just means that it is excluded from the list in the extension management page. So the extension management page will not show this app. And the whole source code of this app, this business events app, is in an app that is called, the name is officially Exclude Business Events, but it is in an app called External Events. Still, I find it funny. I can't help myself laughing about that. The app is called External Events, and as in the folder, but the app itself is actually for the feature business events. Anyway, you can watch those, review the whole source code of the standard app that is that you get out of the box. The events that you will find in there are grouped by categories. We have a category opportunities where you find 4 events around opportunities coded, activated, won, or lost. You will find an category called accounts receivable. That is everything around sales and customer, except for one, that is the sales order released, because that is in the category sales. Honestly, if somebody can explain me the difference why sales order released should be in a category sales, while sales shipment posted, invoice posted, etc., should be in accounts receivable, and not in sales, or sales orders should not be in accounts receivable, then I would be very happy, because I just don't get the difference. Anyway, you see a number of events that are very interesting: shipment posted, or invoice posted, or something, credit memo, payments. So these are events that you can subscribe to from the external system. And the same happens, by the way, with accounts payable. At least it's a little bit consequent here. Purchase order released is in purchasing, and the other things around purchase are in accounts payable. So these events are here out of the box. I just listed them by grabbing them from that source code you just saw. This is the version 23 list. I have not checked back with version 22 if there are any new events, but there is a huge difference between the V22 and the 23 events. If you have used this before, they now all have a version number. And so if you are used to this already, have been using it before, and you have subscribed, you should pay attention to that, because all your active subscriptions are going to break, because there is now a version number included. And if you have been using it before, you will be using version 0.0. And 0.0 versions are not notified anymore, because everything is now version 1.0. I will demonstrate that, of course. How can we use business events? We can use them from Power Automate. That's actually also meant as an integration thing with Dataverse. We can also create our own external systems. We create an Azure function or a web app, or, well, the tool that I just demonstrated. I'm going to use that one, but that's actually for demo and test, of course. Any external system that is capable of receiving an HTTP call can get a notification. So let's do a demo with Power Automate Flow and see how that works. Let me switch to this environment. So this is Business Central in the cloud. And here I have some flows. I'm going to create a new flow. I'm going to skip this here for now and do something like this. Business Central, find the Business Central list of triggers. And here we find when a business event occurs. I click on that. We can define our environment. I go with dev, find the list of events that are supported. Let's just go pretty simply with customer blocked. The company, well, is optional, so we can leave it empty. And then, well, do something very simple. Say I want to send an email. Actually, should probably search for Outlook here. There we go. Outlook. Come on, do I have my mouse? Is my mouse? Yeah, my mouse is now moving, but my screen. Ah, there we go. Not sure what's going on there. And then send an email like this one, and say customer blocked. No, not to customer blocked. I want to send it to my email account here, customer blocked, and then I say customer, and then give it a number or name. And the thing that we get from a Business Central is this information when a business event occurs. And oh, look at that! It says blocked. It says URL, web client URL. It actually does not give me the information of that customer blocked. Well, actually, which customer was blocked. Now, this is Microsoft deciding what we actually would be interested in, which information we need. Well, we get a company, we get the environment, the user, blocked, probably true or false, a URL or web client URL. Actually, looking at this is not even giving me the information which customer was blocked, and not giving me the ID of the customer record either. So that means I need to do some scraping of the web client URL to find the ID. But okay, let's not dive into that. Customer was just blocked, and we just provide a web client URL and say you click on that one and you will find it. And let's already open Outlook. Yeah, it is a go. And let's block a customer. School of Fine Art. I don't want to work with that customer for now. The balance is too high. So let's skip that all. And let's see what happens in Outlook. There we have it. Customer was just blocked, and I can now actually click on it because I don't know why, and then grab that URL and see which customer was actually blocked. Well, this is a very quick demonstration that out of the box it is already working. Yeah, well, we are here at the School of Fine Art. So Power Automate works with the out of the box events, and well, we find all other events that are just listed here, and we also find the company who exposed the business event. And of course, I could do this the same in the tool that I demonstrated. So let's go into that tool and find the workflow that I want to use for that. That is going to be this one, and I'm going to use Postman to subscribe to that one. So here we have the call the API where we find all definitions, external business event definitions. So this is the complete list. And in this case, it's actually not my online environment, but it does not really care. And here we find customer blocked with the app ID and the payload, which is a escaped JSON. But that doesn't really matter because our code, if you would write C# code, for example, can perfectly deal with that. We have a display name and a description, etc. If you want to see if there are any subscriptions currently, then we go with the API external event subscriptions. So there's not external business events here, but just external event subscriptions. I'll find one, actually two. Actually, I need to delete them because that is for my demo that I want to do. Let's just delete them for now. I should have cleaned that up. Okay. Let's see what the other one is. And this one here. Well, deleting a subscription is now already demonstrated. It's just a matter of calling delete on that external event subscriptions endpoint. So I did a get on that endpoint, external event subscriptions, and now a delete. And that is how we delete it. And this is how we get existing subscriptions. Oh, look at that. We still do have subscriptions. So let me get rid of the final one as well. And as you can imagine, creating a subscription is the very same endpoint, but then with a post, it's now empty, no subscriptions anymore. Well, by posting, creating a subscription is actually posting to the external event subscription endpoint. And in the body, we need to specify the app ID that is exposing the external business event. So that's why you need to know the ID of Microsoft's app that is publishing that event. You need to specify the event name, of course, the notification URL where you want to receive the notifications. You need to specify a company ID or a company name. That also works. And if in case you want to have all companies, you just leave that one out. And a client state, which is your security mechanism. That value will be shared included in every notification. So I click on send, and now I have a customer blocked event subscription on that external thing. So let's go into that environment and create another customer block and see how the data is actually coming in. Customers. Let's take another customer now, just for demo purposes. And say all. Done. And here it is. So almost no delay. Like webhooks, you have a delay of about 30 seconds, but external business events are actually going out almost immediately. And when we look into the data we get in our body, we have one value, and in that value we get the information, the app ID, client state, so this is the secret value. You need to check that, of course, if it's the same. Which company ID it happened in, the event version 0.0. That was my mistake. I should have specified a version. Oh, look at that. There is a customer ID. I just didn't see that in the Power Automate flow. So event version 0.0 at least includes the customer ID. That's something we now know. And the URL well, that's funny. And now I want to know. I'm gonna do a live demo and include the event version that we want to have. So we need to specify this one here in the post. Actually, this is something you always should do now, and specify the correct version and send it. So now I have a event version 1.0, and let's go with yet another customer. And block that one as well. And see what happens. Now look at this. I now get 2 notifications. And the one was for event version 0.0, and the other one's for event version 1.0. And well, there's the difference. This one has a web client URL, and this one only has a URL. So that's the difference between the 2 versions. But it did include a customer ID. I just didn't see it in Power Automate, so that's my bad. But here you can also see that I'm actually now subscribed twice with this endpoint, and you see that it is combining the notifications into one notification where we can find both. And that is something you need to keep in mind, that if you have an external system that wants to be notified for multiple notifications, then it might be combined, meaning that you need to work through the JSON to process all notifications. And as you will also demonstrate, it is actually not happening in the JSON is actually not in the exact order in which the events occur. You need to check the timestamp of the events and place them in the correct order. Just saying. So that was about subscribing to the standard events. Now let's move on and create a custom business event. If you want to create your own business event, you need to extend the enum event category. Actually, there's an empty event in Business Central. You cannot create sales or add something to the existing sales or accounts receivable category, because the app from Microsoft is actually also doing the very same thing, as I will show you here. Where was that data? Where did I have the here? Here's the source code, and we find here an external events category enum. So this is the enum extension, and then we find accounts receivable, accounts payable, sales, etc. And this event category is just empty. So you need to extend that one, and then of course you cannot add this value because that one is already taken. I guess you can use it, by the way, by placing a dependency on that existing app. Then you probably can use and reuse it. Not done that, but I think that will work. Then you write a procedure just as any other procedure for an event. So there's no code in there. You mark it as an external business event. Give it a name, a display name, a description, the category, and a version. It is optional, but please do add a version. And then you just call the procedure as any other event. But now there is no AL code that is listening to the event. It's actually an external system that is listening to the event. So I have some code here. Actually, 2 is external business events. You see them here. first of all, I created that enum extension, the event category. Let me just dive into that one. See, well, it's just empty. And I created my own one. And of course, you need to use a suffix or prefix if you want to use prefixes. And this one will also be visible to the outside world, as you will see in a minute. So keep that in mind. It's not going to use the caption. It's going to use the name also to expose it to the subscribers. So here I have an external business event. The scenario here is that I want to be notified if an item goes below or above a reorder point. Kind of a notification, hey, you need to place an order for this this item to replenish it, or maybe the other way around, above reorder point, cancel because we do have enough items, so don't order this anymore. And there's simply some a procedure here with parameters, and all these parameters will be included in a notification. And by providing enough parameters, you don't have, then the external system does not have to call Business Central again to retrieve more information. You include as much information as the external system would need to work with. Of course, you can call an API to retrieve more information about the record, but hey, if it is going to read the item plus an item description, then you already can provide it. Or do you want to know the inventory? Yeah, provide it. So I think that is easier to do. And here in this case, I say, well, when the item inventory changes, some code here that listens to that. Then if it is below the item reorder point, I just call the event for below, and otherwise I say above reorder point. Yeah, it's not an equals, by the way, here. And that's it. You don't have to think about any external subscriber. If there is an external subscriber, yes or no, it's just will automatically be notified. So let me publish this one to my sandbox. Should be there in a second. There it is. And then list the external business event definitions. And somewhere down under here, we have the inventory above and below reorder points with the app ID. So this is my app ID. The event version was also part of that definition here. So let's see here at the end. So this is the version number. It must be x.y and numbers. The payload that is included, so all the parameters, the display name, description, everything is in there, including the category, which actually you don't need for creating a subscription, but you know, maybe you have an external system wants to demonstrate, to show that to a user to select from a certain category. Well, let's create a subscription for this. So I need to copy the values. So say, come on, it's here. Copy the app ID. So this one. Copy the name. Below reorder point. Notification URL is going to be the same. So send it. That's it. And now go into items. Here on this item, Attendance desk, I've set a reorder point on 5. somewhere down here, reorder point 5. So at this moment, the inventory is already below. So let's change it to 6. And then down to 4 again. And now my external system should get a notification. There it is. And here I can see that I have one notification with the information from my company and the information from my event. What is the inventory? What is the item description, item ID, the item number, and the reorder point? So all the information that I have in my AL procedure is magically here. And that's it. I mean, you can also now go into Power Automate and pick up the same same business event from there and work with it. It just works the same as the standard events. So something to keep in mind is what happens when there is an error. Let's say after doing this, you saw it's actually going immediately to the outside world. So let's add a sleep of 10 seconds and then finally error out and see what happens then. Because I can tell you what happened, but seeing is believing, of course. Okay, getting ready, go here. Oh, that's not going to work, by the way, because I cannot set it up. I should do this. Otherwise, it's simply not going to work, and the developers amongst us would probably recognize why. Come on, there we are. And then I need to raise the inventory first from 4 to 6 in order to get back to 4 again. And I don't want to have an error when I'm doing so. So 6, that's working fine. And now I'm going to do back to 4. Now we have the sleep, and you see nothing is happening. So it waits until the whole procedure is ready. It's not going out immediately. In fact, what happens behind the scenes is it waits until it is ready, and then if there were one or more notifications, it will be sent out as at once. So as you already saw with combining multiple notifications, all notifications for one subscriber will then be combined after that sleep that I built in. So nothing came in yet because of the error. So that's great. However, there's one thing that you should be aware of, and that is telemetry. There is some basic telemetry provided by the system when a business event is created or deleted, or and also when an event was triggered successfully or when a notification failed to be sent after multiple retries. Those events have actually no details. You don't know which event is subscribed to or who subscribed to it. You have no idea, only that a business event was subscribed to, and that's it. And that 45 business event triggered successfully, that is actually quite useless, because well, it is triggered in case there is a subscription. So if there is no subscription to an event, you will not see RT0045. But my last example, he was actually triggering that below reorder point and then canceling. So the event was never sent out, but it does log RT45 because that business event was triggered, and it does not log the fact that it was not sent out. So I will see an RT0045 in telemetry, as I do have here. There was actually this one, business event triggered successfully, but I didn't receive it because I got an error after it. So if you are support, if you have to debug this, and somebody says, "Oh, I don't get an event, nothing is in here," you will probably look into the telemetry and say, "But I can see that it triggered successfully." Yeah, that's fine, but that doesn't mean that it was also sent. So, in other words, telemetry needs to be improved, and well, you even don't know which one was actually triggered. The custom dimensions do not contain the name of the business event. So, yeah, the fact that there was a business event triggered, thank you so much, but I have no idea which one was triggered, so it actually does not give you any information at all. So this definitely needs to be improved from Microsoft to be really useful. Same goes with event subscription is created. We see a subscription ID. Well, okay, you can go into the API and say, "Hey, give me the subscription ID," and then see actually who is this and what is he subscribed to. But this one actually is not even giving that information. So yeah, I think again, events telemetry is just basic at this point. Some tips before wrapping up. Well, actually, this is wrapping up. So multiple notifications for one subscriber are combined and sent. So after the transaction successfully completed, and they are not in order in which the events are occurred. So you need to pay attention to the timestamp. An error stops the notification being sent. Standard business events do not send events for preview scenarios. So if an order is released in as part of a preview posting, then the notification will not be sent. You can use that empty company to get events from all companies. You should use versions when subscribing. And if you have used this before, review all your subscriptions and make sure you're using version 1.0. And if you want to move to a next version, obsolete the business events. You do not just change the version property. You should go with obsoleting instead. So changing a version is actually not considered a breaking change. It will just break the subscription. That's what I found out today. If I just change the property, the version property from 1.0 to 1.1, my event subscriber will not be notified anymore because he was subscribed to the previous one, and that is not notified anymore. So be careful with versions. That's it. Almost on top of the hour, a little bit longer than I expected, but I hope it was clear. Are there any questions?
Yeah, there are a couple of questions, AJ. First one is from, oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I'm unmuted. First one is from Jacco Slok. He's asking, are business events in on-prem environments also supported in Power Automate Flow?
Yes. But you need to connect to create a connector to the link to your on-prem. Oh, by the way, of course, I'm not 100% sure. I never used the on-prem connector of Power Automate. If they keep it in sync with the online, then yes. But sometimes on-prem is a little bit behind, so not 100% sure about that one.
Okay. There was from Gert Linke also a question related to that, more or less the same maybe. Will these external business events also work like this on-prem, or is it additional setup needed? So do they work on both SaaS and on-prem the same way?
Yes, they do. The last demos I did was on a Docker environment, so they work on-prem.
Yeah, a couple of notes, or at least one question from Matthäus Digas, if I pronounce his name right. When you created Power Automate, he didn't see you creating a subscription. Is that automatically done, or will you be able to use the Power Automate things because you already had subscriptions created in the past?
No. At the moment that in Power Automate you say you choose the trigger when a business event occurs, then and you save the flow. That is the moment that a subscription is being created. So that this flow does that for you with the Business Central connector.
Okay, clear. And then I had a question of my own. Is there any reason why there is this restricted set of out-of-the-box events? It seems to be like just a demo thing, not a serious business offering.
Yes, simply because this is just the first list. There will be more events coming in the future. This is actually a list that in the previous version, when this was released, was just the first list of events that they came up with, but that will definitely be extended in the future.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for being here, everybody who was here, but especially you, AJ. I think it was loud and clear. So on to your next presentation, perhaps also for this week. Wishing you the best, and of course we'll see each other in Lyon and probably also some of the others. As people go out, thank you very much from Jacco Slok. Perfect thanks. And Gert Hector also says thank you and see you in Lyon. So for those who are going there,
in Lyon then.
Yeah, see you around there. Thanks all, and have a good rest of the day and evening. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.